Here's something I'm thinking about this morning. When I was at Archbishop Clairol, I was on the JV basketball team. Now, the reason I was on the JV, technically, was that transfer students are not allowed to play on the varsity, no matter what grade they were in. If you transferred to that school from another school, for 1 year, you were not allowed to be on the varsity team for that school. Now, it just so happened that the JV team at Archbishop Clairol was so good that it beat the varsity in a very highly regulated, officiated even, timed like a real game. It was a serious matter to decide which was better, the JV or the varsity, and the JV won that scrimmage. Okay, but that's not why I'm going to make this recording. The JV basketball team had 15 players. There were 12 African Americans and 3 whites. I was one of the 3 whites. Now, at that time, I was suffering from delayed maturation, self-diagnosed. So, because the way I looked down there, I didn't want to take a shower. Everybody took showers in those days. If you played sports afterward, you took a shower, and that meant the showers were not private. They were just open areas with maybe 6, 7, 8 showers, all open. You went in there naked, and everybody in there was naked, visible to everybody in there. So the way I looked in delayed maturation, I would not have dared taken a shower. So, but it was very, very noticeable, I'm sure, because in the locker room, now I was then 17 years old, still in delayed maturation. So when I dressed as privately as I could. I kept my t-shirt down over my groin area, and if I had to, change my shorts or whatever, I kept everything covered as much as I could. All right, well, all kinds of things went on around me there in that locker room. What I'm thinking about is, and as I'm thinking about this, suddenly, similar things will start crowding back into my mind that happened in there. I wasn't thinking about them when I grabbed the phone to make this recording. I was just thinking about this one instance, and as soon as I start thinking about that, making this recording, all these other instances were crowding into my mind. But let me see if I can just focus on this one. There was this African American player. He was about 6'7", I believe. Tall, right? And I was maybe 5'6", 5'7". I was starting to grow, I think. Starting to grow, 5'7" maybe. And in the locker room, he was naked, as a lot of people are. And he said to me, he walked over toward me naked with his private parts flapping there, and he comes over to me and he says, AJ, and other people are watching as he's talking to me this way. He says, I don't know exact quote now, okay, but some of it's exact, some of it's not exact. Let me try to remember. He said, naked, he says to me, and I'm like half dressed by that. I didn't fool around. I got dressed quickly, and he said, AJ, I could have. I don't know the words he said. I could have flapped my dick, and it would have gone right into his hand. Why is he telling me that? I said, I don't think I said anything. I just went on dressing and just ignored that. Anyway, why did he tell me that? I don't get it. I don't understand why he did that. He could have flicked his dick and it would have gone in somebody's hand. Well, anyway, that's one of my memories. Being in the locker room, there were a lot of stuff like that happened. That wasn't the only instance, but that was what I was thinking about. I'm not going to branch out and talk about the others. I have at other times, I think. I could tell more about this player. Now, I don't want to, because it's like, I think the other things would... I just don't want... Let me just stop right there. This was in 1971, I guess, around this time of year. This is mid-February. That's when basketball season is, and it's around this time of year. I will say one more thing to kind of end this note on a more positive, cheerful note. As a member of the JV basketball team, I was also in the school play, the school musical, which was The Music Man. I had a part in that play. So there were times when play practice was going on at the same time that basketball practice was on. So what would I do? Well, in my uniform, which was my practice clothes, I would go down to the stage and go up on stage and do my part in my basketball outfit in the play, and then I would go back to the basketball team and play. Now, I didn't plan on saying this, but it's just an opportunity. So I was declared to be full out crazy when I was 28. Now, how many years later was that? 12 years approximately. From 16 to 28, 17 to 28, 11 years, 12 years, okay? Declared to be full out crazy. And I think a lot of people will assume that somebody declared to be, a certified schizophrenic must have had many years of what were called issues now. Back then they were called problems. This is somebody who was... I guess the stereotype in the mind of most people was this is somebody who was a misfit, a child that couldn't get along with others, was running into trouble, didn't do well in school, was withdrawn, delusional and freaky in one way after another. But there I was. I was on one of the best basketball teams in the Washington, D.C. area. In fact, this team beat not only the varsity team, they beat the powerhouse basketball team possibly in the nation. I'm not going to say the name. They get enough publicity as is, but this JV team beat that premier team. It was undefeated, and it was city champion. I was on that team. I was not sitting in a corner, a freaky, weird kid. Okay, I did not take showers, but I still played on that team. And I was in the school play as well. And I had a major part in that play. I was a leading character, and I did both of those things. One more point on my behalf, okay? Well, I just happened to notice, I was looking through some old papers in the attic the other day, and I saw a paper that said I was on the honor roll at this school. Archbishop Clairol, I have a certificate saying I was on the honor roll. Now, I was somebody who left a highly advertised, let's say, as one of the best private schools, maybe in the United States, maybe the world. I went there, and some people say, "What? You left there? You were clearly having problems there." Well, in my last year there, here's some of the things that happened in my last year there to counter that. Okay, in the fall of that last year, I was declared to be in front of the entire assembled football players of the school, which goes from 3rd grade to 12th grade, as one of the greatest running backs my coach had ever seen at that school. It's one of the things that happened. In addition, I was on the varsity basketball team at that school. And not only was I chosen to present one of the highest achieving in terms of grades science projects in my class, I was chosen to present that on the biggest day of the year at that school, Father's Day. But I was chosen to be next year's editor of the school paper. Okay, the junior year editor, there were only 2 people going to be made junior editors, me and another guy. I was chosen for that. So I wasn't doing well there. I was an honor student there as well. I wasn't doing well. I was crazy. Oh, I had a long list of run-ins with authority and problems of all kinds. I was just couldn't get along, and no friends, withdrawn, fantasizing, delusional. No, none of that's true. So, there's the more positive ending to this. I'm in the locker room at Archbishop Clairol, and there's a guy saying to me, AJ, if I'd have flicked my dick, it would have gone right into his hand. As if that was of some interest to me. It wasn't. I went on finishing dressing. I didn't say anything to him. By the way, today is February the 23rd, 2026. How many years is this since? That was, let's say, February 1971. So 2001 is 30 years. 2021 is another 20, so that's 50 years. 21 to 26 is 5 years. 55 years ago that happened. I'm still thinking about it.